Assessment is a way that we can check if learning has taken place. Once a learner has been assessed and a mark or feedback has been given, what happens next? Well, in this tutorial I'll explain why assessments need to be recorded and who will make use of these assessment results. Okay, let's start off with the assessor. The assessor will keep records of assessments so that they can track the learner's progress. Assessors may be working with many learners and it will be next to impossible to remember the progress for each learner off the top of their head, so it's all jotted down, whether in a spreadsheet or written down on paper in the learner's handbook. The assessor will record how each criteria has been evidenced. Has a criteria achieved by an explanation in assignment 1? If so, where is the evidence located within that assignment? Is it page 2, paragraph 5 for example? All of that will be recorded on some form of document. As an assessor issues feedback to the learner, whether written or oral, this feedback will be recorded. This will save the assessors lots of time as they won't have to remark each piece of work in full every time the learners resubmit. The assessors can quickly read what feedback was last time and check to see if the learner has acted upon that advice. The trainers will need access to the recorded assessment data. He can use it to identify any weaknesses in the learner's work and then plan lessons or workshops to address these issues. Equally, if it has been identified that learners have good prior knowledge in a subject beforehand, the lessons can be adapted to recap on these topics instead of going over them in loads of depth. Learners are going to need access to the assessment records. It may not be in the same format as what the assessors have, but they need to see any past feedback or comments so that they can adapt any work ready for the next submission. If any areas of weakness have been identified with their tutors or assessors, they can plan together a set of goals or areas of additional study that they should follow. The training organisation the learner has enrolled with will need access to assessment records. One of the uses of this will be for internal quality assurance or moderation. This is where a group of assessors with similar experience get together and check the quality and validity of decisions that each other have made. This is similar to internal verification, where a designated senior person with experience will check the learner's evidence and check the accuracy of the assessor's decisions. If they agree with it, then no changes are needed. If there are errors, then they will inform the assessors so that they can fix it for next time. Another use of this data is to review the effectiveness of courses. If there are any common errors that learners demonstrate that the delivery team need to resolve next time, they can do that and feed it back to the relevant people. Training providers rely heavily on private and government funding. Success rates and other performance indicators can impact on whether the training organisations receive any future funding. For this reason, a good reliable trail of assessment records will be requested by the training organisations. Sometimes a learner's employers will be paying for the employee's training. It may be in the learner's contract that they've got to complete work on time, or that they might get a promotion if they complete a certain qualification. In some cases, an employer may need to have a certain qualification in order to do that job in the first place. So for this reason, employers may need to have access to those assessment records. Now, awarding bodies or exam boards will request samples of work and samples of assessment for their own quality assurance processes. This is known as the external verification. Not only will they check the assessor's decision, they will also check that the internal verifiers have not missed anything really important. This ensures a standardisation across all training providers across the whole qualification. Another thing to be aware of is Ofsted or other government inspectors may want to see evidence of assessment to make judgment on learner progress and quality of the service. This data is also reported in national league tables to help compare successes year on year with organisations, or compare one organisation against another. So as you can see, there are lots of reasons why assessment records need to be recorded. It's very important that we do so. That's the end of this tutorial session. Thank you very much for listening and hope you can complete the assignment.